Welcome you all to the live webinar series conducted by Evolution Careers in association with RSN Consulting. I am Sukumar, the speaker and the host for the day, and today's topic is going to be on industrial awareness to institutions. Let me start with a brief intro about Evolution Careers and then myself. Evolution Careers is a training, placement, and an HR consulting firm running in the industry since 2013, that is 2013. And so far, it has successfully trained more than 20,000 people across colleges, schools, and industries. In addition to it, Evolution Careers has successfully molded the careers of over 2,000 students who had looked for placement assistance and also career guidance from us. This is in short about Evolution Careers. Any sort of career guidance, placement support, and any sort of training needed is provided by us, and you can definitely contact us. About me, I hold a Bachelor of Engineering in Mechatronics Engineering with a postgraduate diploma in Business Administration. I have corporate industrial experience of little over 12 years, 10 years in India and 2 years in abroad. And since mentoring is one of my passions and industry institute collaboration is one of the aspects I wanted to be a part of. I had chosen this as a profession. Besides this, I am a business consultant too. I have been providing business consulting for training and development since more than 4 years in my leisure time, and now I took this as a full-time profession, and also I give business consultancy to various sort of industries. Besides that, I write books, I write songs, I write verses. I love cooking. This is about me, and let's straight away go into the topic right away. Why industrial awareness is needed to the institutions? First, let's go with the question why. First, why industrial awareness is needed for the institutions? First and foremost, if you start searching for the answer for why industrial awareness is needed for any institute, any educational institute, we'll come to know first answer is the manpower or the resources, the human resources needed for industries come from educational institutions. So, in business terms or in industrial norms, we call it the demand of the industrial human resource requirement is met by the academic institutes, the educational institutes or the training centers, which means institutes are the human resource suppliers to the industries. This is one way we can put it this way. That's why we do have campus placements, we do have full campus drives, job fairs conducted everywhere. Why? For freshers, they have one role, for experience, they have another role. So, this happens in industry. So, when the other way around, people graduating out of universities or colleges are going to start industries, do businesses, and start industries. One way, the individual will be going as an employee, joining as an employee in an organization, or starting an organization and giving employment to others. So, which means either you are going to be an employer or an employee. In industrial norms, in industrial terms, employer, employee. Simple, two classifications. Or unemployed. Unemployed is the choice we don't want to take. Either we are going to be an employee or an employer. When we have to become an employee or an employer, what we have to do? We have to know what is industry first. If we do not have the basic knowledge or basic idea or awareness about how an industry looks, how an industry functions, then after going into it, we'll be finding every difficulty, we'll be having all sorts of difficulties to sustain over there. Days are gone when industries used to give a lot of leverage to the freshers joining in. Those days are gone. We are no more in a situation where industries can afford to have 1 year or 2 years of training program. Those days are gone long back. Right now, you have to either perform or you have to perish. You have to perform or perish. If you do not perform, you will be sent out of the industry or sent out of that organization. So, what you have to do? You have to be precise and you have to know what industry is, how it functions. If you have that basic idea, then when you go into an industry, you will be self-prepared to adapt to the industrial environment. When you are self-prepared to adapt for the industrial environment, it becomes quite easy for you. So, for example, let us put it this way: we are going to a place, we are going for a trip to Kodaikanal or Ooty or Simla, or a foreign trip to Thailand or Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, Germany, Switzerland, to the Alps, to the Niagara. Those who have already visited there, we can gather a lot of information from them. What sort of information we can gather? How does the place look? What we have to follow there? If you are going out of a country, what sort of the rules that country has? What to do, what not to do? If we gather such basic information, when we visit over there, it becomes quite easy for us to follow each and everything that is needed, or at least the minimal do's and do nots we will be able to follow it properly. But you are going without any knowledge about it, and you will find it very difficult. You have to look for each and everything. You have to depend on something, and you will be spending a lot of time on knowing what to do, what not to do there, rather than enjoying the trip. So, do you want to enjoy the trip or Do you want to spend time more and more on knowing what is the trip about? If you have, what is the place about, not the trip about? So if you have a basic knowledge well before you go into that place, how you will be doing there? Straight away you will be going, you will be doing the basic do's and don'ts, and you can enjoy the trip. That's it. Same way, when you come out of college and go into an industry, if you know the basic do's and don'ts, or you know about, you have a fair idea how the industry performs, or the industry you are going into performs, what to do, what not to do, then it becomes pretty easy for you to do things and easily be the best performer. What happens if you go without any preparation or without any idea? You'll spend a lot of time in learning these things first, and those who know it already will be quite ahead of you, even though they might be less talented than you, but they'll be moving ahead of you just because they have a fair idea about how the industry is. Their adaptability of them becomes so easier than yours. So, first thing you have to know is how the industry works. Each and every industry has a different nature. If you want to go to core, in core itself, if it is a designing industry, it behaves in a different manner. If you go into manufacturing industry, it behaves in a different manner. If you go into civil construction site work, it behaves in a different manner. If the same civil industry, but if it's into normal real estate buildings, then it behaves in a different manner. If you go into services industry, ITES, it behaves a little different. So each and every organization or each and every field has a set of things that they have to follow, the norms that they have to follow. And the key aspects that are needed for industries. If you want to survive over there, how you have to be, or what are the minimal. If you develop that qualities well before joining into the organization or before starting the organization, it becomes pretty much easier for you to do things and get things done easier. So you want to do things in the best possible way, or you want to keep learning things there only at the last minute. See, if you want to have a good analytical skill to work in a particular industry, then you have to possess it. If you do not, then it becomes so difficult for you to survive over there. Why it becomes so difficult? Because industries these days, they look for skills and attitude. More than the academic credentials, they look for the skill and attitude. That doesn't mean your academic credentials has no value. It has value to meet the basic criteria of choosing that company. Certain companies have 80% marks requirement, certain companies have 60% marks requirement, certain companies do not bother about credentials. You score marks, do not score marks, doesn't matter. You have the ability and attitude to learn things and implement them as per the company needs. Certain companies find it sufficient to employ people. All they need is the employees ability and the capability to learn new skills and the attitude to learn new things or the things he or she has been taught and implement them as they are as and when they are needed. So this is one type and one thing which you have to keep in mind. And the second thing is the working environment of industry. It varies drastically different from what you undergo in an academic institution. As we had seen in yesterday's topic on bridging the gap between institute and industry, why the gap lies? The gap lies because the functioning methodology of an academic institute and the functioning methodology of an industry is quite different. Academic institutions do not focus on profits. Their key performance aspect is making people study. But when you go into an industry, their primary focus is on making profits. Yes, the primary focus is on making profits because an industry can survive only if you get profits. Institute also needs profits, but it should not be institute should not be business oriented. As of now, as per the norms of India or the global norms, institutes should not be profit making centers. So they should be service oriented. But industries, they have to be profit oriented. They have to be business oriented. Then only they can survive. That's true. So going by all these factors, the only way you can, we all can adapt to the industrial nature is by having a close monitoring and close knowledge about how the industry works and what things do we follow in industries. If we follow all those, then definitely, yes, we can survive pretty much good. Why we need to survive in an industry? You might have this question, why you have to survive in an industry? Because they pay you. Very simple. They employ you, they pay you, they utilize your skills. When they utilize your skills and when they are paying you, what for they are paying, it has to be meaningful. So you have to survive in a challenging environment, complete the challenges, and be proactive. And coming to discipline factors in industries, there are a lot of norms each and every industry has to follow, which will be quite different from your college. So do visit industries on periodical basis, very often. Visit all sorts of industrial environments while you are studying in the college itself. Go and get guidance about industries while you are studying itself. So it makes you easy to adapt to the industrial environment. And coming to norms and regulations, one, there is government norms and regulations. Two, there is industry specific norms and regulations. Three, there is company specific norms and regulations. All three has to be followed without fail. You cannot behave the same way like you behave in a college, because in college you are paying them to study. but here company is paying you to work. So when someone is paying you, they will definitely demand you to follow their policies. Even when we are paying to college, we have to follow the rules of the college. But when we go into companies, especially when you violate any disciplinary things, you are liable for getting sacked the same day itself. It happens in certain industries. The same day they will send you home. So don't take anything slightly and don't come up saying that even for a small mistake I was sacked from industry and the industry is wrong. Never ever go into that statement unless otherwise they are really wrong. I'm not in need of supporting any industry, but we have the need to support the fact. Most of us, what we do, when we find something not of our liking in the industry, we come back to the institution through whom we have got this job or career, and instead of facing the challenges and overcoming them on our own, we come back to the institute and say, this company is bad. If we actually do a deep dive analysis into it, most of the times it's because of the lack of skills of this candidate or failure of this candidate to adapt to the industrial nature or the candidate's over expectation about the company, too much of expectations about the company, or might be some of late I am seeing some of the people who are not willing to work at all, but they want salary. Company has to pay them salary. Company should not give them any target. Workload should be according to their convenience. They want to come the time they wish and they want to work the time they want. Such things cannot happen in industry. For this, I think predominantly is because of the mindset. Everything can be done at last moment. Say in academic institutions, what we do, of course, that's our system. So normally, what happens, even if we do not study for the whole semester, even studying couple of days before the examination, just for studying couple of days, we can secure a pass mark. There is a possibility to secure a pass mark, but industries, you have to perform every day. You have to perform every day. No other choice. So, if you go into industry having the mindset that like we do in semester exams, we have the option of studying in the last minute and securing a pass mark. If you think to apply the same thing in industry, it will never work. It will never work. So you have to prepare for that. Norms and regulations. As I told earlier, you have to follow each and every norms and regulations of the company. The final one, let us see about union, non-union. Certain manufacturing industries and the government organizations, they have union, employee union, through which the grievances are addressed, the employee needs are fulfilled. Most of the corporate companies, they do not allow formation of union because of their past experiences with unions, wherein the unions always created disturbance to the working environment. Each one of us have different point of view on it. So when there is a company where union employees part of union and employees not part of union are working together, make sure you are following both the norms according to the situation. So this is in short about the general awareness. If you want any specific awareness about any company, you can contact us. We'll definitely guide you for a detailed awareness on specific type of industries or specific type of organizations or specific type of specific organization. We can conduct it for you. We can carry out it for you. With this, we end up this session on industrial awareness. Hope it was informative to all of you. Please do subscribe to us, register with us for webinar sessions, subscribe to our YouTube channel for informative videos like this. Please support us. Thank you. It's Sukumar signing off from Evolution Careers YouTube channel on the session Industrial Awareness 2.